And when you get to our border, you will not be detained, you will be released.
Are you vouching that these people are not going to be attacking any other police officers? Are you vouching that they're no longer a threat to public safety? While Donald Trump proposes by executive order to destroy Section 1 of the 14th Amendment, which establishes that everybody born in the United States is a citizen of the United States. What an outrage. What a scandal.
So Jim Jordan just got humiliated by Jamie Raskin in a hearing about immigration and border security. I'll let you know what I think at the end. Let's listen to this.
They said, we're no longer going to build the wall. We're no longer going to have remain in Mexico. And when you get to our border, you will not be detained. You will be released. And guess what? Everybody came. It was deliberate. It was intentional. It was premeditated. They did it to the country. And now it's time to fix that, as the chairman pointed out. I mean, think about it. What they said was no wait, no wall, no detention. Everybody came. And we shouldn't be surprised that who wouldn't want to come to the greatest country ever? But you got to do it legally. That's the problem. And so yesterday, the president started what the American people said to do on November 5th. He started with those 11 executive orders that the chairman talked about. And this hearing is to highlight what took place over the last 4 years and what we have to do to fix the problem the American people elected us to fix. So I appreciate the good work our chairman has done over these last several years. Good work he did on H.R. 2, the work he's doing with this key subcommittee on this key issue. This is critically important. And our job, one of our jobs, this is reconciliation, we Republicans understand this, is to make sure we have the funds available to execute and get accomplished the executive orders the administration, the president put in place over the last 24 hours. So that's our task, and I appreciate, again, the work of this committee, our staff, and our great chairman of this key subcommittee. With that, I yield back.
Chair now recognizes the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, Mr. Jamie Raskin of Maryland, for an opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The chairman began by saying the point here is to restore the rule of law. Restore the rule of law. Can you even pretend to do that if you stand by and support Donald Trump, who on day one, as the chairman of the committee just said, day one of his presidency, pardoned 1,500 insurrectionists, including hundreds of people who violently assaulted and attacked American police officers? Let's just take one person who is free today, Julian Kedar, who had been convicted after having every due process protection, the right to counsel, the right to cross-examine witnesses, the right to introduce evidence, but they had him completely. They knew exactly what happened. Most of this was videotaped so the whole world could see it. Well, Julian Kedar repeatedly, violently assaulted our officer protecting us in Congress, Officer Brian Sicknick, who then proceeded to have several strokes and died on January the 7th, 2021, the next day. The family of Officer Sicknick is absolutely devastated and demolished by what's just happened. I invite any of my colleagues, including the members new to this committee who maybe weren't here on January 6th and didn't experience the trauma of that violent insurrection, when we saw a mob marauding through here yelling, "Hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence," and looking to assassinate Nancy Pelosi. And now you have the temerity to come forward and say this is about public safety? How much safer are we now with these 1,500 criminals at large in Washington, D.C. and going out into the country? Are you vouching that these people are not going to be attacking any other police officers? Are you vouching that they're no longer a threat to public safety? What an outrage. What a scandal. Well, the hearing has been called not on trying to deal with the public safety crisis created by the president on day one of his presidency, but on immigration. Now, time and again, Democrats have reached across the aisle to fix our immigration system by finding common ground through compromise. We did it in 1986 with a Democratic-led House and a Republican-led Senate when we passed the immigration reform signed into law by President Reagan 4 decades ago. In 2013, under President Obama, Democrats worked with Senate Republicans on a sweeping immigration reform bill, only to have House Republicans kill it because it threatened Speaker Boehner's grip on power. Last year, Under President Biden, Democrats worked with Republican Senator Lankford to produce a tough border security deal with increased border patrol, with increased border technology, with increased asylum judges at the border, but President Trump and House Republicans openly and aggressively tanked the deal. They sank the ship, openly rejecting a bipartisan border agreement hailed by the most conservative Republicans in the Senate because they preferred to have a security crisis to run on than an actual border solution. And yet, as Democrats, we stand ready again to work with our colleagues to fix the broken immigration system. Today, unlawful crossings at the border are much lower than they were when President Trump left office. We made progress. Now is the time for us to tackle the daunting task of finding compromise and pragmatic solutions to fix the system that has not been updated in decades, a system that relegates millions of people to the shadows and leaves other people in limbo. Let's secure the border. Let's make it a lot harder to get into America illegally and a lot easier to get into America lawfully. That's what America wants to see. Let's not use immigration to destroy our Constitution. Unbelievable that a lot of my friends on the other side of the aisle are sitting by idly while Donald Trump proposes by executive order to destroy Section 1 of the 14th Amendment, which establishes that everybody born in the United States is a citizen of the United States. And yet, they just let that go. All of these originalists and textualists who claim to care about what the Constitution stands for, that was the whole purpose and meaning of the 14th Amendment, and now they want to destroy birthright citizenship in America, moving to a citizenship based on race instead of a citizenship based on place, which was the whole purpose of the 14th Amendment, to overturn the Dred Scott decision. Well, we're obviously going to have some differences moving forward because they don't want real solutions. They just want to demagogue the immigration issue. That doesn't move America forward. It's just like they demagogued the issue of inflation. They said they were going to bring down prices in rent, in utilities, energy costs. They said they were going to bring down the price of groceries. Not a single peep from them about that on day one. No, it's just about releasing all the violent insurrectionists, the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers who are out there today saying that they want revenge. Well, that's the real program for America. But let's hear what their specific proposals are about immigration. If they make sense, then we will get behind them. But if it's just more demagoguery, Mr. Chairman, I'm afraid we're going to have to let it pass. Thank you.
So if you just watched that and thought Raskin just turned the whole premise of that hearing inside out, that's exactly what he did. Watch Trump actually signing those pardons. Good evening. We're coming on the air with more breaking news on this historic day. On the evening of his inauguration, President Donald Trump not wasting any time getting down to business. He has just returned to the White House and is signing a series of executive actions in the Oval Office where he is pardoning some 2,500 January 6th who have been convicted for participating in the attack on the Capitol 4 years ago. The president is speaking now. Let's listen in. Yes, sir. First, we have a list of pardons and commutations relating to events that occurred on January 6, 2021. Okay? And how many people is this? I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir. So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon? Yes. Full pardon, or commutation? Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research. Nice to see you again. So this is a big one. Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight. Frankly, they're expecting it. Approximately 1,500 people, 6 commutations. Were there any cases you did not commute for part of people? We're looking at different things, but the commutations would be the ones that we'll take a look, and maybe it'll stay that way, or it'll go to a full pardon. And the order does require the Bureau of Prisons to act immediately on receipt of the pardons and commutation orders. Sir, this is and why don't we get that down so they can get them going right now? Yes, sir. Is that okay? Yep, absolutely. This is a proclamation guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion based on the current crisis at the southern border. invokes various executive powers relating to the ongoing invasion at the southern border. And look at what happened behind the scenes with how those pardons were processed. Trump was also getting yelled at by everyone just because he released hundreds of violent insurrectionists back into the streets or something. And yeah, okay, they beat some cops and broke some windows, but they were doing it for him. You would agree that it's never acceptable to assault a police officer, right? So then, if I can, among those you pardon, DJ Rodriguez, he drove a stun gun into the neck of a DC police officer who was abducted by the mob that day. He later confessed on video to the FBI and pleaded guilty for his crimes. Why does he deserve a pardon? Well, I don't know. Is it a pardon? Because we're looking at commutes and we're looking at pardons. Okay, well, we'll take a look at everything. We'll take a look at everything. Shouldn't you look at it before you issue the pardon? It's like step 1, release the prisoners. Step 2, look into which prisoners we should release. Nailed it. If that doesn't satisfy you, he has another reason, okay? Well, we'll take a look at everything, but I can say this. Murderers today are not even charged. You have murderers that aren't charged all over. You take a look at what's gone on in Philadelphia. Take a look at what's gone off in LA, where people murder people and they don't get charged. See, some murderers aren't in jail. Therefore, nobody should be in jail, okay? Also, think big picture here. If he lets these violent criminals go, there's a chance they'll kill the other violent criminals and then they'll just cancel each other out. I really appreciate you for watching, and make sure to check out this